Hi, it's Andrew Helmich here from Impact Images. In today's short video, I just want to give you a few options to consider in case it's raining on your wedding day, and we're going to particularly focus on the photo shoot part of the day. In my last video, I talked about options for a wet wedding ceremony, and the good thing about tonight's options is they're very similar to what we discussed for your wet wedding ceremony. The only real difference is you need a lot less space for the photo shoot than you do for the ceremony, where you don't have to worry about housing or covering 90 to 100 guests. One thing a lot of people don't understand, or brides don't understand, is we don't need very much cover to get great photos. And the main thing is that you're dry and happy and smiling and enjoying the day. And if that's the case, your photographer is going to get great photos, no matter the weather conditions. Whether you're indoors or out, it's going to work. But for the actual photo shoot, if you want to be outdoors and it is raining, you don't need a lot of cover. It's just as long as you and your bridal party are protected or partially protected, then you'll be fine. As a photographer, I'm happy to stand out in the rain. I can even have someone hold an umbrella for me, and I'm happy to shoot. I'm not worried about my gear. I'm not worried about my clothes getting wet. I just, want you to enjoy your day. And like I said, if you're enjoying it, I'll get great photos no matter what. So let's have a look at some of these options. My first one is umbrellas. And look, they're good for a light drizzle or a small amount of rain. And with your umbrellas, your photographer should have those for you and your bridal party. And they should be matching. They should look great in the photos. And they would have given that some thought when they purchased those umbrellas for the weddings. If your photographer doesn't have umbrellas, you might find that your car hire people do. They may not match as well as if a photographer bought them for you. So I would just check those things when you're booking your photographer, or even once you've booked, just check. If they're not prepared for rain, then you can go out and make that purchase and have those umbrellas. I'm sure they won't go to waste, but you're going to need something there to protect yourself if you really do want to be outdoors and there's a chance of rain. If you're having a coastal wedding, say Central Coast or Newcastle, there's so many surf clubs around dotted along the coastline there. There's so many new ones as well. Lots of them are being renovated lately. There's some brand new ones being put up as well. And there's usually some options around the surf clubs. All you need is some eaves to give you some protection. They normally have, the newer ones have some brightly coloured walls. There's stainless steel railings, which all look fantastic in photos. The older surf clubs usually have a bit of charm, and they're going to look great too. Like, you don't need a lot to get great photos. Like I said, as long as you've got a little bit of cover and you're smiling, we're going to get great photos. But surf clubs are a good option. Hotel foyers, another great one. Look, there's actually more than foyers. You can use hotel hallways. Usually they have beautiful lighting, window lighting coming in from the sides, which is great. There's usually areas around the outside of hotels which also work well. Again, if you have a look at your area where you're getting married, just check out the local hotels. When I say hotels, I'm talking things like Crown Plaza and the bigger hotels. You'll find again lots of glass, stainless steel, areas of large walls, coloured walls, which are going to work well without too much signage. So just have a good look around there, and that would be a good option if you're looking for somewhere to stay that night. If you book one of the nice hotels, you'll definitely have access to the hotel. Some of the hotel owners won't let you in there for photos unless you're actually staying there, but you can certainly use outside and around the hotels. Okay, my fourth option there is bridges. A lot of people sort of turn their nose up at this option, but it does work well, particularly if you're going from one area to another, so from your ceremony to the reception. They can be road or rail bridges, and one that springs to mind straight away for me is down at Gosford, the Brian McGowan Bridge. It's got a great outlook over Brisbane Water. There's boats moored out there. You've got a fantastic outlook. The lighting is very tricky for the photographer because you'll be standing basically under the bridge out of the weather. So you'll be in quite dark light, and outside will be a lot brighter. So your photographer will have to know how to shoot with off-camera flash, possibly video light, and be able to balance those two lights to get the good effects and the right sort of look. But there's also plenty of textures down there, and there's going to be some good options with any of the bridges. Okay, you're going to have lines which look great in photos. Diminishing horizontal and vertical lines which look great. So yeah, good option. Number 5, train stations. Plenty of those on the coast and Newcastle. Natalie from our Newcastle studio did a fantastic bridal shoot at the Newcastle train station recently, which is on our blog. That's worth checking out. and there's train stations dotted all over the country, all over Newcastle and the Central Coast. You may have to get permission to go onto the main stations, but there's certainly the smaller stations you can just walk on there. And look, if it was me photographing your wedding, I would be tempted just to go straight onto the bigger stations and shoot until we got asked to leave, just to make sure that we can get the photos that we want to get. So train stations are a good option. Okay, there's a few apartments around the coast and Newcastle as well. You can use generally the rooms themselves. They're usually really nice rooms. I'm thinking again Star of the Sea apartments. There may be a foyer area which will work well, and they also have some specialty areas. Again, like at Star of the Sea apartments, they have a pool room, which is like a bit of an old sort of style library, very dark, moody, great lighting, and they've also got some outside areas, with great outlook, lots of trees, palm trees. You can still see the haven and the beach in the background. So as long as your photographer again can balance that lighting difference, you'll still get great shots there no matter the weather. So have a look around where you're getting married, see if there's some nice apartments, and again that may be a good option for somewhere, if you're looking for somewhere for your guests to stay or for you to stay that night with your new husband. Town strips and shops, okay, again they work really well. So you have to be a little bit careful about the shops that you have in the background in your photos. So you want to look for sort of fashion sort of type shops and strips and cafes. They're all going to look really nice in your wedding photos, and they're going to work well. Obviously, you want to stay away from budget style shops and takeaways and things like that, because they're not going to add anything to your photos, unless the photographer again is skilled and they can crop that sort of thing out when they're shooting. They may have to get up a little bit higher to avoid those sort of things. But you'll get some great shots through town. And there's usually plenty of awnings and cover there. So, and look, again, you have to be a little bit prepared for people to be around you and watching the shoot. And you're going to be a star for the day if you're somewhere down in the middle of town. Some brides love it, some hate it. Same with the groom. So you have to discuss that with your bridal party and see if they're up for that. If they are, you'll get some great shots. Multi-story buildings, now these are pretty good. Again, they have areas around the outside, particularly the entrances and the foyers. Again, you don't need a lot to get great photos, just that little bit of cover. Some of them are done really nicely. You have some great artwork in some of the foyers, some really cool designs. And you don't need to get permission often to get into those. You can just walk straight in. If you're not rowdy and not taking beers and stuff into those foyers, you'll be able to take photos, no problem at all. So have a look out for those. Number 9 on my list is a private home. So if you know someone, or you have friends or an acquaintance, or someone that you can get access, or somewhere you can get access to a beautiful home, you're going to get great photos. They'll often have fantastic interiors and exteriors where you can get a little bit of cover. Again, I'm thinking sort of beach homes. It could be country homesteads with the big bullnose balconies. So there's going to be lots of options there. If you pick somewhere nice that looks nice to you, your photographer will get great shots. Okay, but obviously you're going to have some contacts to use this option. Municipal buildings. So when I think about municipal buildings, I'm thinking courthouses, council buildings, anything with sandstone particularly looks fantastic in wedding photos. Sandstone or any photos actually, sandstone does come up really, really well in photography. So those older style buildings, they're usually littered around the coast of Newcastle, and they'll often have a little bit of cover. Again, you don't need much, and you'll get some great shots. Okay, if you happen to be in the wineries in the Hunter Valley, there's quite a few wineries that will be able to offer you enough external cover to get some shots outside, and then they're also going to have barrel rooms and sales rooms that are all going to look fantastic. Even just the wine tasting rooms, they normally look fantastic. One little issue with the wineries though is you will have to pay usually to use their facilities for photos. Sometimes you may have to just buy a case or two of wine. Other times they'll have other charges above and beyond that. Particularly if you're going somewhere where you're not going to be actually having your wedding ceremony or reception. So if you're just turning up for photos, you definitely expect to be paying something there to use those facilities. Okay, but a little bit of research, a little bit of a drive around if that's where you're having your wedding, and you'll find something fantastic. So look, really your professional wedding photographer will be a huge asset if you have rain on your wedding day. That's really the one day when you don't want to have an amateur photographer or someone that's learning the ropes. Because if you have a skilled photographer, they'll just take it in their stride. And like I said, if you're smiling and having a great time, then you're going to get great photos if you've got a good photographer. Now, they'll be dealing with the light, they'll deal with the weather, and they just want to keep you guys happy. Okay, if you're happy, great shots every single time. Look, I hope that's been a help. If you're looking for more hints, tips or advice, jump over to our blog. It's www.impact-blog.com.au, and I'll be back with another video sometime in the next week or two. Okay, great. I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.